Okay, so we are going to start. So thanks to be here today. I'm Mathilde Gobet and I'm from the Aerospace Valley. I'm with Pierre Duchesne, who is assisting me, and we are in charge of the international part of ActInSpace. So thanks for joining us today for the ESSP webinar for the challenge of ActInSpace. So first, I'm going to present you quickly ActInSpace and the aim, and after I will give the floor to Jorge, which is our ESSP expert today. Thank you. So I'm going to switch off the camera to avoid all connectivity troubles. So to start, ActInSpace was created in 2014 by the CNES, and it's co-organized by ESA, and they decided to give the operation part to the Aerospace Valley, where we are working with Pierre. So since its creation, 35 startups were created and are still supported by 16 international partners since the first edition of ActInSpace. So the timeline of ActInSpace, so the first edition in 2014 was just a French edition. So we had 12 cities from France, and the first international edition was in 2016. So we have 12 countries, 24 cities, 900 participants, and 14 startups were created. In 2018, 32 countries, were gathered, 54 cities, 2,200 participants, and 18 startups were created. And for this edition in 2020, we have almost 50 countries reunited, around 90 cities from the 5 continents, and we are waiting for 4,000 participants, and we hope that more than 35 startups will be created at the end of ActInSpace 2020. So ActInSpace Goal is 24 hours of work. So teams have to work on challenges based on new technology and data from space in order to event the new technologies of tomorrow and the new technology of the innovation for the new space generation. So ActInSpace Goal are also to dream and to become maybe a future entrepreneur. It's also to highlight the space sector and its daily impact in our society, to contribute to the social economic growth and startup creation, but it's also to help the society and the companies, space and non-space companies, to collaborate together and make patent licensing more accessible. So that's why the challenges were created because of the patent, and then I'm going to explain you where did the ActInSpace challenges come from. So for the little history, so the CNES had the space patent hidden away for a long time, and they decided to make them accessible to all the participants of IES. So the idea was to develop the space and the non-space sectors company or ideas. And Airbus just joined ActInSpace at the second edition, and they decided to contribute to the challenges and to the patent with data, and that's how the challenges were created. So the real bonus of ActInSpace is by joining this event, you will have a complete access to the CNES patents, and if your goal is to create and develop a startup, and then you will have access to the patent even after the event. Sorry. So Jorge, I will now give you the floor to present your presentation. So, okay. Okay, Jorge, so I now give you the floor.
Okay, so thanks a lot for this very nice introduction and welcome everyone. So in this webinar, we'll try to give you more information about the challenge that we have presented to this edition of the ActInSpace. The name of the challenge is Innovative Location-Based App Powered by EDAS. Okay, so before starting with before describing in detail the challenge, I would like to start with a brief introduction of our company, ESSP, and also give you a brief overview as well about the EGNOS services and more particularly EDAS. Then I will give you also some information about the technology that is supporting this challenge, which is basically using the EDAS service in order to enhance the accuracy of the location obtained from your smartphones. And then I will go in detail with the challenge. So ESSP. ESSP is the European Satellite Service Provider. It is a private company which is shared by 7 European agencies that are detailed in this slide. And probably our main mission is to deliver the EGNOS service. However, instead of explaining myself the characteristics or the features of the EGNOS service and my company, I will let you 3 minutes with the video of the video that we have in our YouTube channel. Then I will come back to the slides to keep with the presentation. Okay. Sorry for the connection. Okay, there we go. Can you hear the video?
No, we cannot hear the video.
Okay. Can you check it, Matilde, where the problem is? Is it enabled in the...
Yes, Christina, you said that you can hear the video. Okay, so maybe Jorge, you can just we can switch off the sound and maybe you can comment the video.
Okay.
Could be a solution because I don't know why it's not working. Then
Yeah, it was working. It was working before, I think.
Yes. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think now it works.
It was working for a second.
Yeah, yes, for a single second. Well, so basically EGNOS is the European Augmentation Service that provides accuracy and integrity corrections to the signals transmitted by the GPS satellites. This information allows, for instance, to use, especially the integrity information, to use EGNOS together with the GPS signals for safety critical applications, such as the use of EGNOS for aviation. Okay. I don't know exactly the video, so maybe I can advance a little bit. So basically, how is this generated? What we have in EGNOS is a set of 40 monitoring stations which are distributed along Europe. The information gathered by these stations, basically the GPS information, is processed by a central processing facility. And in this facility, the system computes very precisely the orbit and clocks of the GPS satellites. This information is compared with the information transmitted by the GPS system, and this difference is transmitted then to the users so that they can apply these corrections to improve their accuracy. There are 3 services provided by EGNOS: the Open Service, the Safety of Life, and EDAS. The Open Service can be used for many applications that do not imply safety critical situations, for instance, for agriculture. Also for mapping, surveying, or LBS application. Then the safety light service, as I mentioned before, is a service that is mainly used for aviation to support landing with vertical guidance. Okay. And finally, the third service, and this is the reason for this webinar, and this is the service that will be supporting the challenge that we are presented, is EDAS, the EGNOS Data Access Service. This service provides all the information gathered and generated by the EGNOS system, provides this information accessible to the users through internet, free of, with no additional cost. EGNOS is a service owned by the European Commission and was designed initially by ESA, and it is provided by the GSA. We, ESSP, we are the EGNOS service provider, and as I said before, ESSP is a private company shared by these 7 ANSPs. And our main mission is the provision of the service, the operation and maintenance of the Open Service, Safety Life, and EDAS service. Well, I think I can come back to the slides because the video is almost over now. Yeah, there we are. Well, so as I said, EDAS is one of the 3 EGNOS services together with the Safety Life and Open Service. Both the Safety Life and Open Service are transmitted via 2 GEO satellites, whereas EDAS, all the information is broadcasted via internet. As I said, all the data that is generated or collected by the EGNOS infrastructure is made available free of charge to the users. Depending on the data used to transmit this information, depending on the data transmitted and the format and protocol used to disseminate this information, we distinguish among the services that are detailed in this table. However, I will not go in detail through all of them because it is not the purpose of the challenge. I will just focus on a couple of them, CSNET and ENTRIP. CSNET is a service that was defined by ESA, the European Space Agency, in order to emulate the transmission of the EGNOS corrections by the GEOs, but in this case through internet. So if you connect to the service, you basically will receive on a second-by-second basis the same information that is transmitted by the GEOs. Then we have the ENTRIP service that provides differential GNSS corrections and RTK messages that allows improving the accuracy of the position obtained with the GPS signals. So using this service, now we are going to see how we can apply these corrections in order to improve the accuracy of the position obtained with our smartphone. For that, I would like first to remark that before 2017, the Android location IP was limited to certain GPS satellite information. You could just obtain, for instance, the signal to noise, the elevation, the satellite's elevation, and things like that. And of course, you can get the position computed internally by the chipset. However, you didn't have access to the measurements themselves, and therefore you could not apply your own position techniques to try to get a more accurate position. This changed in 2017 with the release of Android 7, when Google provided the Android developers with access to the GNSS raw data, so the carrier phase, the code measurements, and also Doppler information. So this milestone opened the door for the application of different position techniques at the smartphone level to try to enhance the location accuracy. And with this, the development of new applications that could take benefit of this eventual improvement. So to assess or to analyze the improvement that could be obtained by applying the corrections provided by the CSNET and ENTRIP service that we have seen before, what we have done during the last year is to analyze or to assess this type of solution in 4 different scenarios. First one, we tested the EGNOS solution obtained from the CSNET service in open sky and in static. We also tested this in rural conditions, also in dynamic conditions in pedestrian mode. And finally, we also tested the accuracy obtained with the DGPS corrections provided by the ENTRIP service in open sky and in static conditions. All the information gathered in these scenarios has been reported in the paper that we have presented in the ION GNSS conference this year. So if you want to have more information about this, you can refer to this document. In this presentation, I will just focus on 2 of these scenarios, the EGNOS static open sky and the pedestrian one. Okay, so for this static EGNOS open sky scenario, what we have done is to place the smartphones in a location in the roof of our office, in a position where we know very well which are the coordinates of this position. And then we place here the two smartphones that we have used for the analysis, the Huawei P30 and the Xiaomi Mi8. We have recorded data during 10 days. And in this figure, you can see the evolution of the mean horizontal error during these 10 days of analysis. In red color, what we are representing is the position computed by the chipset, so the position that you would traditionally receive from your smartphone. And then in green color, we have the position computed with our own algorithms by processing the raw measurements that are now available in the Android API. In orange color, we have this position when the sparse corrections are applied. So we can see that during these days, the error of the chipset, so the error provided by the smartphone, is in the order of 2-3 meters, sometimes above 4 or 5 meters. Whereas the error obtained with the SBAS solution is consistently in the order of 1 meter or below. The improvement obtained with this solution can be better observed in these figures displaying the cumulative distribution function. So for instance, if we focus on the 95% error, we can see that the error for the chipset is in the order of 5 meters, 4.6 meters, whereas the error of the SBAS solution decreases to 1.5, 1.6 meters. And if we focus on the mean error, we can see that this is in the order of 75 centimeters. Similar results are obtained for the Huawei P30. And in both cases, we can conclude that the SBAS corrections, together with a proper smoothing and processing of the raw measurements from the smartphones, improves the position by a 60–65%. Well, the other scenario that I want to show you is the one that we have recorded in pedestrian conditions. Here we have the results or the path followed with the Mi8 and the Huawei P30. In black color, we have the reference position. In red, again, the position provided by the chipset of the smartphone. And in orange color, we have the solution of the SBAS solution after applying the EGNOS corrections. We can see that the Xiaomi Mi8 behaves very well in this scenario. Both the fixed and the SBAS solution follows very well the reference track, but we can see, especially in the first part of the analysis, that the SBAS solution outperforms the error or the accuracy provided by the chipset. For the Huawei P30, the results obtained with the chipset are not so good. We can see that it's much more unstable, and there are also many deviations with respect to the track followed by the reference. However, again, the SBAS solution is quite consistent and stable, and we can again confirm that in these dynamic conditions, the processing of the raw measurements and the application of the SBAS corrections improves the chipset accuracy by a 40% for the Mi8 and 60% for the P30. So basically, with these scenarios, what we have confirmed is that the application or the post-processing of the data provided by the smartphones, the application of the EGNOS corrections obtained from the EDAS CSNET service improves the position obtained from the chipset and provides a stable and consistent solution. So taking this into account, considering this improvement in the position, the objective of this challenge is to propose a concept, an innovative concept for an EDAS-enabled application that could take benefit of this accuracy improvement and provide an added value for a given market segment. For instance, for agriculture, for mapping, surveying, whatever segment or whatever user that requires a higher accuracy than the accuracy obtained with the smartphone chipset. To describe your idea, you should define or should provide a business model where you should cover things like the value proposition. So why a customer should pick your product, or what distinguishes your application or product from the competitors. Which are the revenue streams? So for instance, how you are going to get money from this application? Which are the costs of your solution or your service? And well, as I said, in case there are other solutions in the market, the interest of the proposed concept should be compared and justified by a comparative analysis with respect to the available solutions in the market. To illustrate your idea, you should also include a mock-up of the proposed application. And eventually, this is optional. You could also define a prototype or develop a prototype to highlight the key functional aspects and added value of the solution or the application that you are proposing. Okay, so I think this is all from my side. I don't know if you have any questions, and well, sorry for the issue with the video.
Thank you, Jorge. Thank you so much for this presentation, and we hope that a lot of people will apply to the ESSP challenge. So we are going to go to the Q&A part, so please feel free to ask all your questions, and we will answer with pleasure. So we have one question. Okay, so Pierre is going to read you, Jorge.
Okay.
So do we have to develop our own position engine to capture the smartphone location based on the correction provided by EDAS? Or could we assume that the EDAS-based position is an input for the challenge, and therefore focus on identifying the application market segment that could take benefit of the accuracy improvement presented in the slides?
Okay, thanks for the question. No, there is no need for you to develop your own position algorithm and then apply the corrections from EDAS. You can assume that this is an input for your challenge, so you can already consider that this level of accuracy that we are talking about, so in the order of 1 meter at the horizontal error, is available for you. And based on that, what you have to do is to identify which applications could take benefit of this accuracy improvement, and then develop this idea, this application, and describe it very well with a business model.
Okay, thank you, Jorge, for the answer. So please feel free to ask all your questions concerning challenges, concerning ESSP or anything, then we will answer. We will wait 3 minutes more.
Okay.
If other questions are asked. Okay, then if you don't have any question, or if some questions are coming maybe later when you will just working on the challenge or anything, then you can contact us to the email address at the bottom of the screen, and we will download your we will transfer your question to Jorge, and maybe he will answer by mail, or just wait for the replay that it will be available on next week, or just a few weeks after the session, and it will be available on the YouTube channel of Connect by CNES. So you will be able to see the presentation a second time. So thank you so much, Jorge, for your great presentation, and thank you so much, ESSP, to be a sponsor of ActInSpace this year. We are so glad to have you on board, and we hope that you have a good time and you answer all the... Oh, so we have a question. Can we rewatch this webinar somewhere? Yes, as I said before, you can watch it on the YouTube channel of Connect by CNES. And some question maybe will come later when you will see the replay or anything. So thank you so much, Jorge, and thanks to all to be with us today. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.